I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me that she had this great idea for a book. And a lot of people do. But then she said, I don't think I've got what it takes to write a book.
You know, I've found that that's often the case. People have great ideas. They just don't think they can do it. So what did you tell her?
Well, I told her everyone starts somewhere. It's not really about what you know right now. It's what you're willing to learn.
That's true.
And then I shared with her my 5 special tips on how to get started writing your book.
Oh, this ought to be good. We're going to learn 5 tips to start writing.
Yes, we are. And these tips really helped her, and they're going to help you as well. This is what I shared with her. The first thing is intentionally stir up your creativity.
You know, I like to do this by keeping a journal.
That's a really good way to do it.
Yeah, I found that if I just have a journal handy, I can write down, things that I observe, things that people do, ideas that I have. Sometimes it's a dream that, you wake up with some crazy dream and it sparks an idea.
Yeah, that happens.
Then, down the road, you can look through your journal and pick up those ideas. And some of them turn into, whole stories, or some of them just add to characters. So keeping a journal is a really good tip.
It is. And the next thing you can do is to read widely. Read lots of books in different genres. It doesn't have to be like the same type of book. You want to mix it up and expose yourself to lots of books.
It's better if you mix it up, right? Because then you're getting exposed to different styles of writing and different ways of expressing things.
And what you want to do while you're reading those books is you want to take note of how things are written. What do you like? What do you not like? You can even take notes on the things that you like, the different techniques that writers use. You can learn a lot by reading a lot of books.
Angie and I are excited to announce the release of our new book, The Uprising.
This is a gripping dystopian fiction novel about surviving a global catastrophe centered around a virus and genetic manipulation.
It's available right now by pre-order until February 13th at a very special discounted price of $1.99 for the ebook.
Or you can get a free advanced copy by joining our launch team. The link will be in the description so you can help us launch this book.
Thanks for supporting the channel and for checking out our new book. Another thing to do is to people watch.
Yes.
I love to people watch. You give me a nice cup of coffee and I can just sit back and I can watch people do weird things. And it's fun because when you watch people do something funny or odd, you can kind of make mental note of that. Or if you have your journal, you can write it down. And it just really helps you to learn how to express that. When you see somebody do that, then how would I write that? How would I express what I just saw somebody doing?
And you can do this at coffee shops or museums or art galleries. You can go to a park. Really great places to go to a park, sit on a park bench and just watch the people walking by. What are they doing? What are they saying? How are they interacting with each other? You can learn a lot. You can get a lot of creative ideas for your own character development by doing that. And number 2 is you have to decide what genre you want to write in.
Yeah, you have to decide, are you going to do fiction or nonfiction? If you're going to do nonfiction, then you have to break it down even more and decide, are you going to do educational stuff? Are you going to write something that's in the self-help genre? Is it going to be a devotional or a memoir? There's a lot of different choices, even in the nonfiction area.
Funny you should say that because we also have fiction. And a lot of people want to write fiction, and that is an entirely different animal than nonfiction. But it's still, you have to choose what genre within fiction. If you're going to write, is it going to be historical? Is it going to be sci-fi or dystopian or fantasy or maybe contemporary? There's a lot of genres within fiction as well.
Yeah, we write in both, and it is a little bit of a challenge to switch between both. But here's an insider tip. A lot of the tips and tricks that we give apply both to fiction and nonfiction. So you've got to learn the good writing styles and good writing tricks to be able to do both. All right, so that's the first 2, but what's the third thing you told your friend?
Create an outline.
That's really good. If you're going to write in the nonfiction area, the first thing that you have to do is decide what is the main point that I want to convey once you get that down and you kind of know your purpose and what you want to say, then you have to break it down in chapters or an outline. Basically, it's just an outline in a logical order. How do you want to present the material? And let me give you a quick tip. There's a trend in the writing industry that you just get to the point and say what you have to say.
Yes.
In years gone by, people would go back over it and back over it and back over it and just embellish and add more to the book. You don't really need to do that.
One of my favorite things about nonfiction is when they're very direct, they get to the point, say what they got to say.
In fact, you did that, didn't you,
I
Ange?
did. I have the book Intentional Motherhood, and in this one, I knew that I wanted 30 chapters, and so I made a list of the 30 chapters, and I got to the point what I wanted to say.
And that makes it much better for the reader because they can grab the information, apply it, and they love it better.
Now, if you are writing fiction, it's a little different. And you may have the idea that you're going to be a pantser like Stephen King. And you might just start writing and discover you really are a pantser.
Probably not, because honestly, I think a lot of people think they're pantsters. They start writing, and then they get lost or discouraged.
Yes.
And then they quit. And they don't need to. They could just do an outline.
Yes. If you do an outline as a first-time writer, it can really help give you the structure to help you stay on track.
Please tell me you told your friend to do an outline.
I did.
Okay.
The other thing is a lot of new writers will be like, well, where do I start? Do I start with a character sketch? What about backstory? What about the world building and the plotting? And where do I start? And the honest truth is that you can pick any of them and start on any of them because you are unique. Now, number 4 is set up a writing routine. This is really important to establish what you're going to do when you sit down to write.
Now, let me guess. You're going to ramble on about how you're a morning writer and I'm a night writer.
Well, that is part of the process. You got to figure out what your most productive time of the day is.
In the evening.
In the morning.
See, we have a natural disagreement here because everybody's a little bit different in this.
So pick the time that you are most productive and use that as your writing time. Now you're going to set goals. Now, goals are really important because they give you something to reach for.
They are, but they need to be SMART goals, right?
They do. They need to be SMART goals. You need to have small, achievable things that you can achieve and then celebrate your win. And we have a video about setting SMART goals, and we'll put that link in the description. You want to make sure that you create a comfortable writing space. And this can be anywhere in your house, but if it's a designated space, and that tells your brain when you sit down in that space to write, your brain says, it's time to write.
So comfortable doesn't mean recliner, right?
No, I really wouldn't recommend having a recliner be your writing space.
But
no.
maybe it's just your space where
Yes.
you can turn on the music that you like to listen to, you can set at your computer or with a tablet, and you can write and you don't get interruptions.
Yes, and that's really important. And then we build upon that by deciding what is going to be your consistent writing schedule. And this can be different for everybody. Sometimes it's, I'm going to write for an hour every day, or I'm going to write 1,000 words a day, which he's done that. It could also be, I'm going to write for an hour on Saturday because that's the only time you have. This is going to be different for everybody, but make yourself a consistent writing schedule to help you stay on track to reach your writing goals. And number 5 is start writing. I know that sounds simplistic, but it's the truth. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and the sooner you start, the sooner you're going to have words on paper and you're going to realize your writing dreams.
The truth is, everybody has to just start writing. It doesn't matter if you've taken classes on writing. If you don't actually do it, then you don't learn. You have to have that practical application step. So if all of the other steps fail or you get frustrated and throw it out the window, just start writing, because in the process of writing, you will learn, you will grow, it will develop. So if you're like Angie's friend and this was helpful for you, you might want to check out the rest of this playlist because there's a lot of videos we have on how to write your book.
We would love to hear from you in the comments. What do you want to write, and what holds you back from writing today? Thanks for watching. We will catch you in the next video.